This is a class, Meditation and Miracles. I think the first thing that I would like everyone to do after I explain the basics of the class is just, if you feel comfortable kind of saying your name, anything about yourself you want to say. If you don't want to say anything about yourself, don't say anything about yourself. And then I will review kind of what I had envisioned as the basic structure of this class, and it will be similar each week. And then we'll get started. We'll do a little bit of meditation, and then we will dive into some principles from this book, A Course in Miracles. So, I'm Joy. Thank you for coming. I'm really thrilled for you to be here. This is not something I ever expected to find myself doing, in all honesty. So I'm a psychologist by training, and was always interested in spiritual things, but never on a committed path. I was very into yoga before I had kids and that kind of stuff. Loved Marianne Williamson's work, but was just kind of a passive consumer of this kind of stuff. I enjoyed it, but that was it. And then a couple of years ago, I found this book, which is called May Cause Miracles, which I strongly recommend. It's basically takes you through the principles in A Course in Miracles, but in a very user-friendly way. And this totally rocked my world, this book, because it's basically a 40-day program, and if you guys decide you're interested in it, I'm happy to walk anyone through it, and you learn the principles of A Course in Miracles, but in a way that's in language that you can understand, because as you see, this is like a very, very thick book, and it's written like this. It's intense, and you can read like maybe a paragraph or two at a time, and then you're like, what did I just read? But that's kind of the idea, is like it's challenging all of these mindsets that we have and ways of thinking, and it's very dense. But what I found was great about this is that it really helped me to understand it. And now I work with Gabby. I'm a life coach through her network, and this book totally changed my life. I started reading it about 3 weeks before my life basically fell apart. I developed some major health problems, which are still unresolved 2 years later. But if it hadn't been for this and the Kundalini Yoga, which I'll explain to you, I would probably have jumped off a bridge by now, no doubt. So I feel I've lived these principles, and that's I'm so grateful to be here today with you, and that's why I wanted to offer this class, because it's like, take whatever you connect with, leave whatever you don't connect with. It's not like a sales job. It's not like, oh, you need to join and pay and go to all these classes and do that. This to me is just I found these principles so miraculous in my own life and transformed myself, my family, every interaction that I have with every single person that I meet, that I was just if all of us could just have a few of these tools, I think we'd be a hell of a lot happier, because we all have our own challenges and ways in which things feel out of our control, and we try so hard to maintain control of everything, and especially most of the people here are moms. When you have kids, you even feel that way more. And so to have principles to help you actually feel like you're in control of yourself, and you're not being buffeted by these forces outside of your control, which create chaos and misery in your life. So that's that. So I would love if we could just go around and just briefly say your name and anything you want to say. So we'll start with Frederic.
Yeah, my name is Frederic, and I'm so happy to be here, and I'm amazed of what you're doing, Joy, because I think it takes a lot to offer what you're offering. So thank you so much.
My pleasure.
I'm Jen. I've known Joy for a while, but haven't been able to see her much because I had a bunch of kids over the last several years, and so I'm trying new things to kind of ground myself again and find myself again, because I've been caught up in raising kids and work and stuff for a while. So that's my goal.
Okay. April?
I'm April. So I saw Joy's post of this, although she told me a little bit about it ahead of time, and it sounded really interesting. I think A Course in Miracles is fascinating, and I don't know much about it, so I'm looking forward to learning more. And I teach in this Pilates space, so This is our new studio. We just moved here a month ago. So it's nice. It's nice that you're in here.
Thank you.
My name's Susan, and a lot of people from school here, so it's nice to see. And yeah, it's kind of like everybody else. We all most of us have kids, and it gets a little stressful, and it just feels like nowadays we're all a little more stressed out than we need to be. So I thought it'd be good to maybe learn a way to relax, find a way to find your center, and relax a little more. So.
My name's Eileen. I met Joy through Gabby's masterclass, Spirit Dancing masterclass last November. And I'm so happy to be here. I love learning from Joy. I love your periscopes.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm ready for a miracle.
Thank you. She's also a teacher of Kundalini Yoga, an amazing spiritual guide herself. So thanks for coming.
I'm Selene, and I also saw basically the little flyer, and it said, "Are you looking for miracles?" And I was like, "Well, yeah."
Who doesn't need one?
That would be great. Yes, we'll take that. And I feel like everyone was saying, just in terms of like life gets really chaotic, and I feel like I've forgotten how to slow down. I feel like I used to know, like I used to be able to like take 10 minutes and meditate, and I feel like for the past like 3 years I've been like, I should meditate in just 10 minutes, and I haven't even done that. So I was like, okay, I'm going to come to a class, and maybe that way I can like reconnect with that side of things. So.
Great.
Hi, I'm Aurora. I work here and I teach yoga here, and so I'm so happy you're all here in this space. And I've heard a lot about Course in Miracles. A few friends of mine have taught it, and I've never sat in on a lecture about it or anything like that, so I'm really excited to listen.
Great. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for welcoming us here.
Yeah, thank you all for being here. And there's water if you need it, and glasses. Just let me know.
Okay. So do we want to move to Maureen next?
Yes. Okay. I'm Maureen. I have what's nice to say, a lot of friends in here. I've had things start to come into my life that I'm not able to manage, and I'm very glad to be here.
Okay.
Sorry. My name is Liz, and a friend of mine loves this book, The Maycall's Miracles, and she's also talked about the Master Book, and she's had a lot to say about it. So I thought that was a really cool thing. But of course, what led me here is what leads a lot of people places is just being with your friends. And I thought, wow, this is like a fabulous bonus. It's like, a combination of meditation and this book that I'm a little scared of that. Because you just, I don't know, sometimes I feel like I'm unqualified to read some of these deeper teachings, like I'm just not going to get it or I won't connect with it. So it's nice to, be in part of like a group discussion about it. I don't know if anyone else gets anxiety about trying to read into spiritual work. But I love the idea of hearing other people talk about it and their experiences with it. And the combination of doing something physical with it is great. So thanks for having us.
Sure. My pleasure. Danielle.
I'm Danielle. I'm a stressed out New Yorker. I'm always pregnant. I'm looking forward to whatever this is. I don't know anything about meditation. I don't know how to slow down, nor do I know how to breathe. So this is completely out of my box. But I'm here. I'm in your, as you call it, space. I'm in the space. So I'm welcoming the space into my
And we're blessing this baby as we sit here too.
And the baby's due within like 12 days.
And I purposely chose our meditation to be, there are some meditations that you can't do if you're pregnant, so as long as you're pregnant, everything will be safe for you.
Okay.
And we have another mom of 4 here, and she's going to be a mom of 4, so you guys can chat.
I'm still alive.
My name's Nikki, and I think everybody's sort of said the same thing. My dad was very into Native American beliefs, and I have crystals and done meditation and cards and all that. So it's been a while.
Mimi. My name's Mimi, and I've known Joy through our kids, so we met. And just when I saw Joy was doing something, I'm going. So, and I do love this book, and I'm very spiritual, and I'm open to things. I've got a lot of transitions in my life, and I'm just really happy.
Hi, I'm Natasha, and I have always been drawn to you, Joy, for your insights, but perfectly matched with intellectual prowess. There's wisdom and intelligence aren't always the same thing. But I don't know. I think I've been on the path accidentally for some time and then became more deliberate about it in recent past. I think that the serendipity of chaos and confusion and always being pregnant and being in, states of chaos and is, it's almost like, you have to look deeper. For me, I've had to look deeper to get through certain life challenges, and just moving back from Colorado has no less been a huge one. And I love A Course in Miracles. I became familiar with it through Eckhart Tolle and Wayne Dyer and other Eastern masters, and I too have all these great ideas to meditate, but just never get around to it. So again, thank you for this invitation to be more deliberate about getting into, because my body feels dense when I'm in my mind, but when I'm in the heights of meditation, when I've practiced it regularly, I've felt the lightness and the ability to watch the chaos even as it happens, so that I'm not just taken over by it. So.
Thanks everyone for sharing, and I ask that anything that's said in this room remains confidential. That's part of allowing it to be a safe space for everyone to share what they need to share or not share what they don't want to share, and just feel comfortable to come in whatever space that they're in and get whatever it is that you want or need out of the experience. Why am I wearing white? I'm a New Yorker. I only wear black. Right? Have you ever seen me in white, guys? All white? Ever? No. Okay. So, no. So this is part of the whole thing. It's about, and we're going to be talking a lot about what is ego and what is not ego, and we'll get into a lot of stuff. We don't need to do it all in day one, but what I'm doing in this class is not typically done. It's either Kundalini Yoga or A Course in Miracles. Like, they're not related really in any way, although their central principles are the same, which is basically only love is real. That may sound very hippie-ish, but we'll get into more about what that means. And they're both different pathways to getting to the same end, which is to find your own peace and inner happiness, regardless of what is happening around you. And it is possible no matter what, and I believe it because I live it. And I've seen other people in far worse circumstances than myself live it. So I know it is indeed possible. So part of what Kundalini Yoga is about, it's a very technology-driven kind of yoga in a way. You may not think of it that way, but it's not like regular yoga that you think of where you're like stretching forward and trying to get more flexible or doing a handstand. Kundalini Yoga is designed around certain movements of the body, certain angles that you use with your arms, your legs, your head, your chin, and patterns of breathing and mantras that you use in your mind, all designed to create a certain effect. A lot of them modify certain systems in the body. How I got interested in it is because it is very technical, and I may or may not have a problem with my pituitary gland, and it does a lot of work on the endocrine system and involves the pituitary gland. So I was like, can I heal myself? I was like, I'm a scientist. I want to see, can I heal myself doing this? No, I have not healed my pituitary gland, but I'm still here. So it's good. But you wear all white when you practice Kundalini Yoga. And as your teacher, I need to follow the tradition because it expands your aura. Your aura is the electromagnetic field around your body. And you may or may not be aware that you have one. But you know how you're around someone and you're like, wow, they just have great energy. It doesn't matter like what they said. It doesn't matter really what they look like. It doesn't matter anything. You just feel them. When they walk into a room, you notice them. They don't have to say anything. That's your aura. That person has an amazing aura. And a lot of the meditations, and they're called kriyas, which are like sequences of poses, they build your aura. They build your electromagnetic field. Like my son, I have 2 sons, but one of whom is not your typical boy. And people were like bullying him and giving him a hard time. So I like told him how he could use his aura to like keep the bullies away without him saying anything. Like, can you stand your ground and people know not to mess with you? I can't say it works all the time, but these are ways that you can have power over your own experience without impacting anyone else. So wearing white expands your aura. Typically when you do Kundalini yoga, you also cover your head because it's about kind of, Kundalini is a kind of energy that sits at the base of your spine and rises up through your whole body. You may have heard of chakras, but it basically goes through all the chakras of the body, and your head being the top one. So once you awaken that energy, you keep the head covered because it contains it. Like, you don't want to awaken all this energy and have it like go into the ethers. You want to contain it and be able to utilize that energy. So that, in a very brief way, is how I would describe it. And we don't need to get into the technicalities of all of that. If you want to learn more and go deeper into Kundalini, I mean, this class is yours. So I'm going to be your guide, but I'm going to follow your lead in terms of which things are helpful, what you like, what you don't like, and we can make it different every single week. But my plan is to start out each week and do like 5 to 10 minutes of some sort of Kundalini meditation. And we can try different ones, or you might find one that you really like a lot. And then we'll go into the principles of A Course in Miracles. And what I think it's important to start with the meditation, because that grounds us, allows us to leave all the chaos of the day, all the stressors that are on our mind, and just to be with ourselves so that we can start to think and absorb more clearly. So that's what I had in mind. And I encourage you, I'm going to have this class every Fridays, except for September 25th and October 2nd, because I will be out of town those 2 Fridays. But I encourage you, if you find that there's something that you take away from this experience, to make the commitment to yourself to keep coming no matter what. And not because my feelings will be hurt if you don't come. Like, I would love to see each and every one of you every week, and life gets in the way. But I know how easy it is for me personally to think like it's more important to buy my groceries than to go connect with someone or do something to take care of myself. So I just encourage you to make a commitment to yourself, whatever it is. It might be going and sitting in the park, or go watch the ocean and do nothing, but make that commitment to yourself, because if you don't show up for yourself, you can't show up for anyone else. And I think we've all learned that the hard way as well. So that is my goal for you from this experience, is to learn how to show up for yourself, to enjoy your own company, be your own best friend. And I think that's going to bring all of those other things that you want into your life. We think that, like, okay, when my child is doing well in this area, everything will be okay. Or when my relationship with my husband is better, everything will be okay. Or when there's more money in the bank, everything will be okay. Or for me, like, when my health is perfect, everything will be okay. And I've been putting off doing something like this, waiting for my health to be perfect. And then I decided, you know what, I just need to go on living, and whatever happens, happens. So whatever it is that you think needs to be fixed for your life to be okay, I'm here to show you how maybe it can be okay now. And that doesn't mean that you have to accept and want those things that you don't like in your life. Like, acceptance doesn't mean that you have to choose to keep those things. That's where people get really hung up and scared, because they're like, no, I'm not going to accept, because I need more money, and I want that perfect health, and my husband's an asshole, and my friends are driving me crazy, and my kids are driving me nuts, and I just want to go to my penthouse in Manhattan, right? So we don't have to accept those situations that we don't like. We can choose to change them, but this is about being in peace while you do that. So we're going to start off with our meditation. Enough talking for now. Just get yourselves comfortable. If you want to sit on the floor or somewhere, if you want to sit like that, it's fine. You just need a stable base, because you're going to be having your arms. So what we do, maybe Arlene, I will ask for your help. Whenever we do Kundalini yoga, it's very, very important. It's called tuning in. There's a mantra that we say. Take it or leave it. I know Danielle's smiling at me. All right, so we say these mantras that basically link us to the teachers of this yoga. And this kind of connects us to the wisdom and the teachings that are not our own. So we say this mantra as a sign of respect to connect us with these teachings. And then we say a mantra for protection, which basically protects you and anything that happens in this room. So we're going to start out each week saying this mantra, and right now, I think, Arlene, just you and I might want to just say it 3 times together You're cool with that? And then we'll move into our meditation. So before we do any meditation, we say these mantras, and it's called the Adi mantra, Ong Namo Gurudev Namo. So we'll say that 3 times. And should we chant it? Do you guys want us to chant it just for you guys? And then you can follow us after. We'll do it 3 times, and then we'll do it together as a group 3 times. So when we do this, we put our hands in prayer position at our chest, and we say, Ong Namo Gurudev Namo. And now we're going to repeat it 3 times together, and just don't know the words, just close the other thing when you do Kundalini Yoga, you close your eyes. You have your own inner experience. You don't worry about what anyone else is doing, thinking, da-da-da-da. Just go inside. So we're going to close our eyes.
What do they mean?
It's a language that I don't know. Basically, the important thing to know is that, I mean, maybe you know the direct translation.
Om Namo Gurudev Namo means I bow to the divine teacher.
So this is connecting us to the golden chain and our own inner truth. Okay, so we'll put our hands together. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in, and exhale. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Adgure Name, Jugadgure Name, Sadgure Name, Siri Gurudeve Name. Adgure Name, Jugadgure Name, Sadgure Name, Siri Gurudeve Name. Adgure Name, Jugadgure Name, Sadgure Name, Siri Gurudeve Name. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Okay. And I will give you a handout next week with the words written so that you can know them better if you want. So the meditation that we're going to do today is called a meditation for a calm heart. And it's a really beautiful and really simple meditation. Before we started, I have a quote from Yogi Bhajan. He wrote this book. He is the guru from India. It's called The Master's Touch. And this was, I did a teacher training at Golden Bridge in New York over last year. And this was one of our textbooks. And he's a hilarious guy. He was a guru from India who brought Kundalini Yoga to the United States because he felt that basically he saw the world exploding around him and felt that the Western world needed to be saved by this technology. And as you know, you think about, there was the threat of nuclear war, there still is, just all the chaos and that was going around. So he brought this to kind of help us get through this age. And so this was what he said about Kundalini Yoga. Kundalini Yoga is not a fad and it is not a cult. It is a practice. It's a practice of experience of a person's own excellence, which is dormant and which is awakened. So this is about attaining your own excellence as a person. And by conquering your mind, you can conquer the world. And that's what we're going to do here. And what's amazing about Kundalini Yoga is the meditations and the different practices are not necessarily, you can use them, like if you're very stressed out, you can do a meditation for a calm heart, which is what we're going to do. But where you get the most benefits is if you find a meditation that you really like and you do it for a series of days. I was explaining this to Frederic a little while ago, about a month or so ago. I will be curious to hear your experience. But basically, if you do a meditation every day for 40 days, it's enough to break you of the habit, the mental habit that's blocking you from whatever it is that you want to bring in to your life. 90 days allows you, so doing that same meditation every day for 90 days allows you to develop a new habit. Does that make sense? So the 40 days breaks the old one. The 90 days brings in the new habit. 120 days of a meditation allows you to really integrate it into your psyche. And 1,000 days allows you to just fully own it and be it. And some people do a meditation every day for 1,000 days. One of my teachers was doing, it's a bound lotus. Do you know what the lotus pose is when your legs, I can't even do it, are crossed, and then like you put your arms around each other, you do like this. He does it for 31 minutes a day. Every day he's going to do it for 1,000 days. He's already at like more than 400 days, like more than a year, spending 31 minutes. So people have a level of commitment, which we don't need to do that here. That doesn't fit in our lives, and that's one of the amazing things about Kundalini Yoga as it was developed. They call them householders, which is a funny name of people like us, people who live in the real world, who have jobs, families, other stuff going on. Like you don't need to go to an ashram to do this kind of yoga. Well, if you want to, like, be my guest, I think it would be amazing, but you don't need to do that. So the other thing is you'll see me in other forms of yoga. I've never ever seen an instructor ever look at instructions, but there are literally like thousands and thousands and thousands of meditations and kriyas in Kundalini Yoga. And you have to have your arm in the right way, your breath the right way. So I will be looking at my manual, and almost every Kundalini teacher does, because we want to get it right, because we want to get the full benefits. So we are now going to do a meditation for a calm heart. So I want you to be cross-legged. And what we're going to do is when we start the meditation, you'll close your eyes. But I'm going to have you keep them open while I show you what you do. You take your left hand and you hold it across your chest, like basically in your heart area. So I'm opposite of you. So I will mirror image you. So it will be easy. So you're going to take your left hand and cross it and put it in the center of your chest. And then your right hand is going to go, this is called Gyan Mudra. It's basically just putting your index finger and your thumb together and you hold it up like this. And this mudra, so Kundalini Yoga is even like the fingertips have different things, different channels in your body. And this is about bringing more clarity to you. And this meditation, what you're going to do is take a deep breath in, hold your breath, and take a deep breath out. And then hold the exhale. And you'll breathe at your own pace. So you'll be inhaling, holding, and then exhaling and holding. And this is what Yogi Bhajan had to say about this meditation, that this meditation adds clear perception to your relationships with yourself and others. If you are upset at work or in a personal relationship, sit in this meditation for 3 to 15 minutes before deciding how to act. Then act with your full heart. And physically, this meditation strengthens the lungs and the heart. Okay. So we're going to do this with music, and I'm going to see if it's working. Okay, so I want you to cross on your heart, hands up, close the eyes, deep breath in. Hold the breath in, exhale out, and hold the out breath. You're just going to continue breathing at your own pace. breathing in deep as you possibly can, holding your inhale. Slowly exhaling and holding the exhale. Any thoughts that you find coming into your mind, let them go, let them float away. Just focus on your breath. Inhaling deep. Holding the inhale. Exhaling. Holding the exhale. Take a big inhale in and exhale very powerfully. Another big inhale in and powerful exhale. And another inhale in and exhale. And now I want you to keep your eyes closed. Rest your hands on your knees in Gyan Mudra, so your finger and your thumb and your index finger pressed together, and just keep your eyes closed and breathe long and deep. We're just going to spend a few minutes just relaxing. Just deep inhales, deep exhales in a relaxed way.
Inspire us to be receptive, to create and to
ready, slowly wiggling your fingers, your toes, opening your eyes slowly to the room, coming back to the present. Okay. I hope that was a nice experience for everyone. Again, you won't love every meditation, but I'm going to give you a variety. Try to give you a variety of music to make it as pleasant as possible and have you see what you connect with. And I think meditation is kind of a muscle that you have to build, and I really hated meditation when I was first exposed to it, but I often know that the things that I'm most avoidant of are what I need the most. So now I crave it, really. So it can be a great way to just ground and get perspective. So now we are going to get started, unless anyone has any questions about the meditation or anything that came up for them that they want to share. We will move on to our Course in Miracles work. Is everyone ready for that? Okay. So as I was saying at the beginning, I have 2 extra copies if you guys want to share and look on. You don't have to have a copy in front of you, and I will put a link on my website, to Amazon, to where you can get the book and stuff if you have an interest in it. So this is a Course in Miracles. It was written by 2 Columbia psychology professors. It's what's called a channeled text, which means that they felt that they got these messages from some sort of divine guidance. It is not a religion. It is a retraining manual for the mind. So that monkey mind that we experience that's going all over the place, this brings discipline to the mind, because we are responsible for our own minds. And if we allow our minds to run wild, our lives will be quite difficult, to say the least. And I think we've probably all experienced those situations when our minds, we let them run away with us, and one small worry becomes this huge potential catastrophe, and then we take ourselves to that catastrophe rather than diverting in the other direction. And so basically the way that this book is divided up is it has 3 parts. It has what's called the text, and that is basically these channeled messages that I was telling you about. Then it has a section called the workbook, and there are 365 entries in that. And the idea is to do 1 lesson per day, every day, for a year. And people who have been studying this course for decades, they just keep repeating it and repeating it and repeating it. And the lessons are typically brief, and depending where you are in the lessons, take just, could be 15 minutes a day, could be 1 minute every hour. It just depends where you're at. But the idea is that the first half of the lessons is basically kind of I told you the first 40 days of the Kundalini meditation breaks down the bad habits, and the 90 days builds a new one. So the first half of these lessons kind of tears apart the whole system of the ego, and I'll explain to you what we mean by the ego. It's not the psychological ego that Freud was talking about. It's something else. So we'll talk about what we mean by ego. But breaks down that fearful part of ourselves. I think that's a way to think about the ego. And then the second half helps to kind of build you up more and develop a greater connection with the universe, God, your own higher power, however you want to define that something greater than you that can guide and support you. And then the third part of the book is called A Manual for Teachers, and that's to kind of read if you want to be a teacher or not. But part of the principles of this course is that by being a student, you also become a teacher. One of the reluctancies I had to even thinking about offering this kind of experience is, well, I haven't been studying this for this long, that long. There have been people that have been studying it for 20 and 30 years. Surely they know much more than I know. But you know what? If there are a few tools that I've learned that I can pass on, and that's how it works. I have friends in other cities who are on Periscope right now giving me hearts. That's how you show someone you love them on Periscope, is you tap the screen and they give you hearts. And it's really cool. And I have friends in other places who are teaching A Course in Miracles so you're always a student, you're always a teacher. Like in my therapy world, what we used to do in certain kinds of group therapy is have like the people who had been in the group longer, as you know, in Jen, it's called dialectical behavioral therapy. Like the older members of the longer standing members of the group teach the new members the principles, because you always learn by teaching. So you'll be teaching some of these things probably to your kids in subtle but very powerful ways. So I'm going to just read you the introduction. If you go past, if you want to look on, if you have the book in front of you, you can. It's just the introduction. It's past the table of contents. But I think that this is a really powerful passage. So this is A Course in Miracles. It is a required course. Only the time you take it is voluntary. Free will does not mean that you can establish the curriculum. It means only that you can elect what you want to take at a given time. This course does not aim at teaching the meaning of love, for that is beyond what can be taught. It does aim, however, at removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is your natural inheritance. The opposite of love is fear, but what is all-encompassing can have no opposite. This course can therefore be summed up very simply in this way. Nothing real can be threatened, nothing unreal exists, and herein lies the peace of God. So we're going to break this down a little bit, because this is like this whole thing in a nutshell. And that's why when you read A Course in Miracles, it's very close reading and you kind of need to break it down a little bit. So basically it's saying the fact that you're here means that you're ready to learn this stuff, that something in you has been awakened that knows that there is a deeper, more fulfilling, better way to live. And that doesn't mean that your life is shitty now. You can have an awesome life and want it to be better, right? So it doesn't mean, you could be like down, Danielle with her, thank you. No, it's awesome. Take a picture of the book. I love it. I love it. And let's bring humor to this, because this can be like a really serious business. So let's make this fun and joyful, because that's our true mission in life. And this is what this course teaches. I think I laugh at my name because I'm like, okay, I'm not always like the perfect example of joy, but it gives you something that you have to work toward. Like I can be joyful. I can choose to be joyful. We can all choose to be joyful no matter our circumstance, and that is our birthright. And so that's what this course is teaching us to get back to, is what our birthright, which is our own happiness and our own joy. And wanting your own happiness and your own joy is not selfish. It is not self-centered. It is not egocentric. It is beautiful, because when you live in a place of joy and happiness, you share that joy with others. People want to be around you. Your kids are nourished by your joy. They're not nourished by your misery, by being that beast of burden who, like, I used to liken myself, I felt like a mule, like bringing in 6 bags of groceries from Trader Joe's, and like, okay, that gives me like my credibility as a good mom because I'm a great mule. No, like that's not what my kids remember. What they remember us is like sitting on the floor, like doing these meditations, or me even like talking to them last night about like how excited I was for us to be doing this today. That's what our kids want to share with us. They don't remember if their rooms were perfectly clean. They don't remember if like it was the best dinner ever. They want your joy. They want your presence. And if you don't have kids, for the other people in your life, they feel it in you when you are joyful and happy. And they want that. Everyone is magnetized to that. So like if you want people to want to be with you, be joyful, be happy. But it's like not easy, it's work. So one of my favorite quotes from Gabby is, happiness is a choice I make. And I repeat that one a lot, and I wake up with it pretty much every day, because as you know, like the moment we wake up in the morning, we can go south or we can go north. And so that's why I strongly advise starting your day out, even if it's just like 5 minutes of some sort of spiritual practice to ground you and set your intention for the day. Because if you already wait till you're feeling frustrated, annoyed, stressed, tired to try to recharge, you're like trying to play a catch-up game. So try to, even like before you get out of bed in the morning, maybe set your intent for the day, say some form of gratitude of what you're grateful for, because that is another really powerful tool, is gratitude. When we feel that we have nothing to be grateful for, we can always find something. It might be having air to breathe, this beautiful room to sit in, whatever it is. So the fact that you're here now means you're ready to take this all in. And so, Liz, to your point, I think you don't need any special credentials to, and we're here to kind of discuss it together and make sense of it and decipher it together. And there's no right or wrong answer to any of this stuff. So the fact that you're here, you have everything that you need. And so, like I was saying, this course, there's basically two states of existence in the universe: love or fear. It's like that simple. So everything in your life can fall into either the love bucket or the fear bucket. And you might be like, what? What are you talking about? Is anyone having problems understanding like love? Does that sound too woo-woo, too ethereal, or you understand? No one's having an issue with that. So fear, you might not think that you have a lot of fear. A lot of us are aware of our fears and have a lot of anxiety and feel scared of everything. Some of us may not think that something really is falling into fear. If we're angry at someone because of something that they said to us, we think we're mad at them, that they did something wrong. But that's fear, right? Because actually what's happening is our response to what they said, not what they said. Because they're coming from their own place. And oftentimes, maybe if they've done something that you think is wrong or to disappoint you, they're operating from their fear mind, not their love mind. And so it's our job not to perpetuate that state of existence. Our job is to reframe, and this is really hard work, and it takes moment-to-moment awareness. And that's why, like, meditation is not just what you do like we did at the beginning of this class, but it's also moment-to-moment awareness of yourself in this world and how you're interacting with everyone. And so you can give love to every single person that you meet. Every interaction that you have can be filled with love, including your interaction with the grocery store clerk, the gardener, the annoying person on the road, that person that cut you off that you want to be angry at. You can choose to reframe it. And forgiveness is a huge piece of this. And we'll get into all of these in more detail slowly, but I just want to kind of get us through the beginning. So explaining the meaning of love is beyond what anyone can explain, right? It's something felt. So when it says this course does not aim at teaching the meaning of love, it's impossible for any of us to express that fully in words. We feel it. We know what it is. It feels good in our body. Fear, if we're in a state of fear, we know we're in a state of fear if we feel clenched, tense, worried, out of control. Oftentimes we compensate for our fear by becoming very over-controlling, trying to micromanage every little bit of our lives so that nothing bad happens, because we feel like we will fall apart if that feared thing happens. And this leads to greater states of anxiety and a lack of peace in our life. And so a huge part of this process is surrendering to forces greater than ourselves. And that doesn't mean surrendering to chaos. It means trusting that there is something in this universe that is guiding and supporting you, and that is always working in your highest good. And what we're going to do here is help all of us really fully connect with that belief and that knowing, not just even a belief, like an inner knowing that the universe has your back, that you are protected, that you are being guided, that everything that you do is going to lead you to a better and better place. Even those things that are horrible and hard and you don't understand why they've happened, being able to walk through those kind of tunnels of fire in the knowing that you are being guided, that there is something greater than you that is protecting you and that is leading to your highest good. Okay. So the other piece of this, what this course does do, so the meaning of love is beyond description possible of words, but it does aim at removing the blocks to the presence of love. Just like Kundalini Yoga is all about clearing the blocks, this course is also about clearing those things that are blocking you from fully achieving your own happiness, that are leaving you feeling stressed, worried, anxious. And I want this to be, I'm going to stop talking in a couple minutes. This is going to be I've done a lot of talking today, but in general, I want this to be a really interactive experience and a conversation among all of us. So we're going to, there's going to be a lot of time for questions, answers, processing. I think that's going to be a crucial piece of this. So when we finish this section, I'd love to get to any thoughts that people have about what they're hearing. So it does aim at removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is your natural inheritance, right? That part about happiness and joy being your birthright. And then the opposite of love is fear, but what is all-encompassing can have no opposite. And this is where, like, the Course in Miracles can make you dizzy, because you're like, what did I just read? It's so kind of ethereal, but I think don't worry about figuring out every single word. Just get back to, like, okay, love is real, fear is not. If I'm feeling fearful, then that is not real. That's not something real that I'm experiencing. So this is the two very powerful lines that I think make a lot of sense. So nothing real can be threatened. Your happiness, love, the fact that there's a higher power guiding and supporting you, none of that can be threatened. Nothing real in your life, think about it, nothing real can be threatened. So if you're feeling threatened by something, it doesn't exist. Nothing unreal exists. Because what is true and lasting for you cannot be threatened. So that's a lot to take in. Anyone have any questions or thoughts about that as they hear that?
Sort of chewing on what is meant by real, exactly.
Right. Mm-hmm.
When I read the text, I feel a depth that's not necessarily explainable in words.
Mm-hmm.
There's a truth that transfers, and I appreciate it for not being, the words leave their linear nature and they take on sort of a portal into the depthness of what's coming through. Because language is all learned as well, and so if we focus on semantics and the language of even this English transcribed text, it sometimes can be, the mind wants to, because monkey mind wants to make it into something more complicated than it is. So when I hear unreal versus real, I think that there is something more to that, but it's not. It reaches something to create peace, but it's inexplicable in that moment. So yeah, I think that it's like when I said carrots earlier. Yeah. It's the carrot. Yeah. It makes you like, oh, well, what does that mean for me? I don't think it means like Newton's laws, real and unreal, or gravity and that sort of thing. It's like your perception and consciousness versus what is learned.
And I think that's a beautiful way of saying it. So our ego, our analytical mind, wants to get tripped up in the words, like, what do we mean by real? What do we mean by unreal? Like, there we go, right? Into intellectualizing and getting, and I'm not saying that as a criticism or judgment. We're going to do a lot of witnessing and observing here and not judging. We're going to witness our own fears and our own mind, and we're just going to observe. And so that's the ego mind that wants to start like getting lost in semantics versus the truth. So you'll know the truth is true and what's not true is not true when you feel it. Yeah. Right? And you know it. You know it and feel it.
I mean, I guess the question itself is like, I mean, I think I was coming from a place more, akin to what Natasha was saying. Like, I get that, that it's not about like a dictionary definition. I'm thinking about like, for me, like I've had a lot of anxiety in my life, and it's really get the whole deal where you can kind of invent really any fear and if you focus on it enough. And so for me, I'm thinking like, you know, is real what you focus on? Is real what, you know what I mean? Like I'm just trying to, I don't know, figure out how it like,
how to apply it in some ways.
Guess,
And so that's where the workbook lessons become really powerful, because they basically teach you how to dismantle your fear mind, the things that are blocking you to really tapping into your truth. And we can talk more next week about how to do the workbook lessons. And today I want to be really respectful of our ending times because people have school pickups to do. But I think the one last thing I'd like us to cover before we wrap up for today, like flew by, I don't know if anyone else thought that, is like, what is a miracle? What do we mean by a miracle? Is it like something like some magic happens and like the miracle? Is that what we're talking about? It can be. It can be. But I want to read you just a few things about miracles. So, principles of miracles. I think this is really cool, and I can't read all of them right now because there's like, I think 50, more than 50, but I'll read you the first few. There is no order of difficulty in miracles. One is not harder or bigger than another. They are all the same. All expressions of love are maximal. So this is like, oh my God, we could spend an hour talking about this, right? Like we think that some miracles are easier than others. Like some miracles are harder. Like maybe the miracle, like we get our child with the teacher they want or we want. Like that's a miracle, but that's like a not such a major miracle. Like that's something within this world. But like having someone miraculously cured of cancer, like that's a big, difficult miracle. But really there's no order of difficulty in miracles. And miracles can happen instantaneously. Have you ever had something happen where your life changes in one moment and you have no explanation for it? There's nothing logical about it. That's how miracles work. They happen instantaneously. And just because you think your miracle is like super difficult doesn't mean it can't happen instantaneously. This is like one of my most favorite principles from the Course, because it totally takes us out of that ego mind that like tries to organize, analyze, and delineate what's going to happen to us when and how. We don't know any of that. And the sooner we can accept that, the greater peace that we will have. And then it says, after all that talk about miracles, miracles as such do not matter. The only thing that matters is their source, which is far beyond evaluation. So this is really powerful. Why does the miracle not matter? Because it's actually a representative of something greater and bigger that is supporting you. So whatever that little miracle is doesn't truly matter because you're being supported anyway. And so what we're going to do here is you're going to find that support if you're not feeling it now and truly know that it is there for you and how to tap into it. Okay. Finally, we will read our last statement on miracles for today. Miracles occur naturally as expressions of love. The real miracle is the love that inspires them. In this sense, everything that comes from love is a miracle. So I think this leaves us with something, an intention that we can set for the rest of our day today, is to start to look at every interaction that you have for the rest of today, or any experience that you have, as how can this be a reflection of that miracle? How can this be an expression of love, even when it's something that seems to the ego mind as bad and not what you want? How could it be a miracle instead? How could it be an expression of love? How could it be some sort of divine guidance? I just want you to look with open eyes. Like, not everything is going to make sense. It doesn't need to, but I want you to start looking at things through a different filter. Because how we feel is all based on the filter that we see the world through. When we're seeing the world through that fear-based filter, everything seems bad, scary, miserable, annoying, whatever it is along that spectrum. When we start to look with love, we see something entirely different, and we feel, most importantly, we feel entirely different inside. So I encourage you to take that with you for today, to start to be aware of the filter that you're seeing things with. You know, that first step is even awareness. If you're not able to immediately start shifting into like seeing things differently, start to be aware of your filter. The moment that you notice yourself feeling unhappy or uncomfortable or frustrated or angry, start to look at the situation as an observer. Try to withhold the judgment and just look at what's happening. And notice, like, if you feel that someone is mistreating you, disrespecting you, not doing what you want them to do, they're often coming from their fearful place. So try to just notice what's happening with the others around you, not judging, not trying to fix them and say, oh, you just need to see through love. Like, we're not here to proselytize like all our families and everything. They're going to learn by your example, right? And we're not going to try to fix anyone else. Like, we're our own biggest jobs. So we're not responsible for anyone else's happiness. That's the other piece. We often feel responsible for everyone's happiness around us. But you're only responsible, and you can only truly care for your own happiness. So let's let that be our goal for this week, is trying to take charge of your own happiness, knowing that those around you will benefit when you benefit. Okay. So we are going to close out today. I will include a closing ritual from Kundalini Yoga. We will say a long Sat Nam. Sat means truth. Nam is my identity. So truth is my identity, and that's what this experience is about, is living in your truth, whatever that is, and helping you to find that truth. So we'll put our hands in prayer position again, close our eyes, take a deep breath in, and we'll say a long Sat and a short Nam. Sat Nam. And I bow to you. And have an awesome day, everyone. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. And if you have not, I want to play some parting music so you go out on a happy note. If you have any questions, please ask me. I'm here for you. I also, I printed out some of these postcards. If there's any like juice bars that you go to or any places that you go that you want to hand these out, feel free.
All the places that people piss me off.
Well, there's a great juice bar right across the street. I don't know if you know Evolution.
Yeah.
It's right there, and Extraordinary Desserts, of course.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I
I know. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Shalom. Shabbat shalom.